here I am in studio this morning. Just me and my phone. Yep, like so many people nowadays, I can't go anywhere without it. It never leaves my side. And yes, we know how to turn them on, some of us, and we know how to send a text or a WhatsApp message, some of us. But after that, how far can you go with your phone? Or in other words, how much do you know about your phone? Well, the good news is help is at hand. Paul Mannion, good morning to you.
Good morning, Joe.
And thank you for taking the call. You are, correct me if I'm wrong now, you are a student at Holy Rosary College in Mount Bellew.
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
Good man. Tell me, this wonderful concept, Know Your Phone, and we'll be talking more about the book in a moment. Where did it all come from? How did it all originate? Whose idea was it?
So basically, my friend James, his granny got a phone for Christmas, and she was trying to use it, but she found it hard to use. So James had to make notes for her. But when we went into fifth year and we were doing business for fifth year, we knew we were going to do the student enterprise competition. And we were struggling to find an idea, but then it just hit us, why not make a guidebook on how to use phones?
Right. Is it fair to say, now I'm sure you're a whiz kid, all the younger generation are whiz kids when it comes to the phone, Paul, but is it fair to say that there are many of us not using these devices to their full potential? In other words, many of the features on the device are rarely activated, rarely used.
Exactly, yeah. I suppose that's what the book was made for, is to show the advanced, well, it starts off with the basic features, but it goes to the advanced features and the apps and different apps that you can download that would be very useful to all people.
And you know, it's amazing the different things you can do nowadays through your mobile phone. In other words, and I say this with the utmost respect to our listeners, nowadays with the smartphone especially, it's not only about taking or making a phone call, is it? Give us an idea of some of the amazing things. You know, you who has a great knowledge of these phones and how they work. What are the more special tasks that you can carry out nowadays on your mobile phone?
Well, obviously you have Google, but YouTube is probably one of the big ones. You could look up anything you want and it'll come up with loads of videos on that specific topic. Zoom, Google Maps and emails is another thing as well. And there's just so much apps on the Play Store or App Store that you can download.
Zoom has changed the world when it comes to how we communicate, and the timing was perfect. No longer had it arrived on the scene and COVID hit, and Zoom, it changed our lives for the better because it meant that we could not only keep in contact with each other, but we could communicate visually as well, albeit through a screen.
Exactly, yeah. It's a big advantage having these different apps now like Zoom and even Skype and all them, so even the elderly people, if they learn how to use Zoom, they can contact with their family relatives that way.
Yeah. Do you find, or did you find through your research when you were putting this book together, Paul, that older people are far more tech savvy than they get credit for?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of them are willing to learn, but there was no book or guide to show them how to learn, and that's what we saw. We saw a gap in the market when we were doing the student enterprise competition, and we realised they're capable to learn and they want to learn, so why not teach them how to learn?
You see, and I'm using my own experience here when asking this question. There is an initial fear, isn't it? You know, people who are maybe smartphone or computer literate, and the same word could be used in relation to them using a smartphone or a tablet or whatever. There is a fear of the device that if you press the wrong button, it will probably explode or run away from you or what have you. And once you overcome that, I mean, people can't stop themselves from exploring all the different apps, as you said, and all the different things that the device can give you.
Yeah, exactly. You were saying about fear. A lot of people could be afraid of scams or just being safe on the internet, and our book does cover how to stay safe when you're using the internet and how to prevent scams.
And that, you see, that is another concern, because nowadays we hear so much about the downside of the internet and modern day technology. The scammers are busier than they've ever been, and that can cause people to be afraid and to be concerned. But once they familiarize themselves with firewalls and things like that, and other different devices that can protect them against the scammer, that fear is soon overcome. So the book itself, I know we mentioned it here on the show just before Christmas, and I know you've been getting a lot of publicity right across the country, and I hear it is now zooming up the bestseller charts. Is it?
Yes, we're blown away by the sales that we're getting. You said there it started on your show, which it did, and we just got blown away with the amount of positive feedback that's from the book.
Right. And it's selling well. And where can people get a copy? Well, first of all, now I don't expect you to give us a full and comprehensive insight into what's contained in the book, but really what it's about is introducing you, giving you a basic introduction as to how your phone works, basic instructions and detail in relation to what the phone can do, and just explaining in a very simplified fashion all the mod cons and the device itself, what it can do. That's really what the book is about.
Yeah, basically. So the book is broken into two different chapters, one for iPhone and one for Android. And each chapter covers like the different settings on the phone and how to create a contact. And then the last chapter will cover advanced features on both types of phone, like different apps that you can download and how to manage passwords. I'm thinking of Mount Bellew. I'm in Roscommon town this morning, so Mount Bellew just down the road, and I know when you're heading from Roscommon out towards Mount Talbot into Ballygar to Newbridge, Newbridge down towards Mount Bellew, largely a rural area, Paul. Big concern nowadays, even when using smartphones and indeed all devices, big concern as regards broadband, Wi-Fi. It can be frustrating at times. Yeah, it can. Wi-Fi is nearly an essential part of everyday life now, but we hope our book will just help. It doesn't have to be the elderly people, anyone that struggles with technology, and we just hope that our book can help them.
All right. So, once again, people listening this morning, especially those who have maybe a fear of starting off and switching on the phone and switching on the computer, whatever the case may be. But with this book, it's about your phone. If people want to get a copy of same, how can they do it? Tell me.
They can ring us on 083 056 1140, or they can go to our website at www.know-your-phone.com.
Good man. And well done. And we also have to give James a mention, James Donoghue, and all involved there with what is a very, very interesting project.